So hey guys, it's Paul, and in this video I'm going to be talking about worry and how you can stop worrying. So I'm going to show you 5 principles, and these 5 principles will help you when it comes to your worries and dealing with what you're worrying about right now. Now, worrying is something we all do, and these 5 principles aren't going to dramatically change everything, but they're going to make it a lot easier for you to deal with your worries. So what are those 5 principles? Now, before I show you them, it's important that if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Don't forget to like and comment this video as well. And also as well, I'm giving away a free ebook. Now, this ebook is called Man Up, and you can download it by clicking the link below this video. So let's dive straight in and talk about 5 ways of dealing with worry. So the first thing is to stop becoming a bad storyteller. And what I mean by that is when you worry, you create scenarios, you create stories in your head that 1, don't exist, and 2, probably won't exist at all. They're not going to come true. So it's just you creating stories, you creating scenarios in your head about a certain situation. So this is typically what worry is. Let's say that we've made a mistake at work. What we might do is obviously go home and worry about that mistake we've just done. And then what happens is we create these stories, these scenarios. So we think, you know, tomorrow my boss is going to realize the mistake I made. They're going to call me into the office. They're probably going to give me my final warning, which will mean that I lose my job. Then I have to go and tell my wife that I've lost my job. And then she might leave me because I've got no job. I've got no security for us as a family, and then et cetera, et cetera. And you're creating this story, this scenario built up around your worry. Now, you can probably relate to that. That is very, very common, but this is just a story that you're creating. It's a story that your negative emotions are creating. And this story can change course at any time. Let's say that your boss realizes that you've made a mistake. They call you into the office, but you don't get that final warning. You don't get the sack. Now, every part of the story that happened after that point there has completely changed. And it's just completely unnecessary for you to now have worried about that scenario. So these stories, these scenarios that we're creating in our head need to be addressed. So when you realize that you're creating a story, creating a scenario that hasn't existed yet, you need to think about it and you need to stop and you need to address it and change course. Okay? So that is the first thing, is to realize that when you are worrying, when you are creating worries, it's typically down to you. You are typically in control. You know, you are in control of your thoughts. So you need to be in control of the stories that you create. The second thing is to shift to gratitude. So what I mean by that is typically worry is a negative state. So you're in a negative mind state when you worry. So what you can do is just shift to gratitude and shift to what you're grateful for. And this will put you into a positive mind state. And by being in that positive mind state, it's going to allow you to deal with the worry a lot easier. And it's also going to allow you to make better decisions. So what I mean by shifting to gratitude is, let's say that you're worrying about something. And typically you worrying is because it's normally a lack of something. So instead of thinking about the lack of something that you've got, whether it's money, whether it's, you know, a job, a relationship, a lack of something in your life, stop focusing on what you haven't got and focus on what you have got. It can be as small as anything. It can be the fact you've got good health. It could be the fact that you've got a roof over your head, a job. You know, maybe you live in a country which has opportunities for work and food and water. You know, really think about what you're grateful for. It can be as small as that. And when you shift to what you've got and what you're grateful for, you become in a positive mindset. And that allows you to make better decisions and allows you to deal with the worries that you've got. So that is the second point, shift to gratitude. The third thing is to face the fear. Now, worry typically stems from fear. It's typically something that you're fearful of which might happen. And worry often comes from maybe public speaking as well. Maybe it's an event that you have to go to, a job interview, a meeting, a date. All of these scenarios are just fears. And this is where worry stems from. So all you need to do, and I've spoken about this before in previous videos, is just face that fear. All it is a comfort zone. As soon as you break that comfort zone and you face that fear, you're going to become, you're going to be less worried about that situation. Think about the first time you got behind the wheel of a car. And think about those feelings that you had. You were scared, you were probably nervous, you probably didn't know what you were going to do, how to drive, and all of these, you weren't very confident. All of these negative emotions. Now, months, years down the line after you've been driving for a while, do you still get those feelings? No, you just jump in front of the car, everything's on autopilot, you just drive effortlessly. So this is the same as facing fear. Whatever you're worrying about, all it is a fear, and you need to face that. And normally, what you think and these scenarios, these stories that you create of what might happen, don't. So just face the fear, and then you're going to break through that worry. Number 4 is to stop trying to control other people's thoughts. And again, when you worry, it's typically because you're worried what someone might be thinking of you. And you need to completely remove this thought from your mind. And the ways you do that is, number 1, and I hate to break it to you, is you're not that important. You really aren't that important that someone is going to be thinking of you as much as you think they're thinking of you. So let's say that you make a mistake at work, and let's say it's a new boss. So you've got a new boss and you've made a mistake and you've made a bad impression on that new boss. So you go home worrying about what they think of you. You go home worrying about the impression you've made, whether you'll lose your job, etc., etc. And you're worrying what that person thinks of you and the mistake you've made. Now, put yourself in their position. Do you think that they are going home and thinking about you and the mistake that you made over and over again? They're not. They're going to give it a small thought, and then they have to deal with their own thoughts, their own worries, their own issues that they have to deal with. They've just started a new job. They might have moved city. They might have relationship problems. They might have issues, self-esteem issues that they have to deal with. So you're not that important that they're going to be thinking of you that much. So stop trying to control other people's thoughts. Stop worrying what people think of you, and this will allow you to worry less as well. And then last but not least, number 5 is stop for a moment. All you need to do is just stop and address how you're thinking and address those worries that you're worrying about. As soon as you stop and you disconnect and you are aware of what you're thinking and your thoughts, it really becomes quite clear that what you're worrying about is quite, silly. It isn't going to exist. It's just a story. It's a scenario. You're probably trying to control someone else's thoughts. You're worrying what other people think. And when you stop and you disconnect and you actually realize that, the thoughts that you're having aren't as bad as you first thought, you then become in a better mind state. So you can just stop. You can, maybe work out, you can meditate, you can read, you can maybe spend time with friends. All of these will allow you to stop and disconnect from the worry, but you need to make sure you deal with the worry. Don't just distract yourself and then the worry will resurface. Address the worry, stop, and then you can go ahead and do something else that will take your mind away from it. So sometimes when I'm worrying, I'll address the fact that I'm worrying, I will stop, I will then maybe go and do some reading, or I'll maybe go to the gym, and then I'll come back, I'll address it, and I'm in a better mind state to deal with what I'm worrying about. So hopefully those 5 tips have helped. If they have, don't forget to comment below this video, subscribe to the channel, and you can also download that free ebook, Man Up, by clicking the link below as well. Let's stop worrying, guys. Everyone will still worry as well. Don't get that wrong. I still worry. You will still worry. You cannot completely remove worry and fear from your mindset, but you can deal with it and you can manage it a lot better using these 5 principles. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, guys, and I will see you very soon.